All right, friends, it's we're gonna do a reaction video again today to Jason Blaha, friends. We're back. It's T-Man, and we're gonna do a reaction to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness slave himself, Blaha. So Blaha says 8 to 12 reps is practical for gaining muscle. It is it? Okay. I didn't know reps build muscles, but okay. What type of muscle are you building with these reps?
The 8 to 12 rep range is extremely practical for gaining muscle. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here.
So the 8 to 12 rep range is great for gaining muscle or for gaining muscle or for damaging muscle to get myofibular growth. Ah, so he's talking about gaining muscle, gaining sarcoplasmic muscle. Okay, so if you're building muscle with reps, then you're building sarcoplasmic muscle. Now, if you're using 8 to 12 to get damaged and adaptation, muscle damage and adaptation, then that would be myofibular growth. Well, there you go. See that? You're building artificial muscle growth called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy growth.
I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I make that statement, there's going to be a lot of evidence-based people are going to be like, there's no rep range for muscle growth. In fact, all rep ranges show muscle growth, etc. You know what?
They do. All rep ranges, really. When it comes to sarcoplasmic growth, all of them are going to work, really. You know that? But when it comes to myofibular growth, to get an adaptation, to get micro injuries or micro tears in the muscle fiber, that's totally different. You're shooting for an adaptation. That is very complex. That is hard, astronomically difficult.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that point. However,
that's why he lifts every day in the gym, because he's trying to build sarcoplasmic growth. Yeah, but it's not working for him because he doesn't even understand what sarcoplasm, how to get the sarcoplasm to get bigger. It's an energy source, really. It's based on glycogen. You're just let's just put it this way. If our cells are filling up with water, really they fill up with water, this what people call inflammation. Inflammation really is water filling up your cells. Your cells are filled with water, and then you want to release the inflammation out of your cells. Well, if you keep eating sugar diets and all these fake foods and toxic foods, and you lift weights and everything and all that, the inflammation, it fills up with water. You're in a bloated inflammatory state. You want to release that and get rid of it. Why? Because it's fucking nasty, bro. It fucking accelerates aging. It does a bunch of stuff. It's associated with disease and all kinds of shit. You don't want to have an inflamed body constantly, inflammation in your body. This is crazy. This goes against everything.
I want to be clear, it makes sense to do a lot of your work in that traditional, what was considered to be the hypertrophy rep.
That's why sarcoplasmic training, which the 99% of people are doing out there, is really nasty for you, bro. Get it? Yeah. That's why I said muscle is really hard to build. Now, if you're on your natural diet as a carnivore, eating meat, animal fat, meat, and organs, and whatever, blood, and you go lift in the gym for an adaptation, to get muscle damage, to get some micro injuries or micro whatever tears in your muscle fibers. Okay, you're shooting for that. You know that you're not gonna get that much of inflammation as you would normally get. Like these guys, what they're getting nasty inflammation in their body, and you don't have to go through this to get your muscles to grow muscle through an adaptation. It happens relatively fast, really, providing you get an adaptation. It happens very quickly. It could happen within 2-3 months or something. I don't know. You could gain a lot of muscle within a couple of months. But if you're shooting for an adaptation, if you're shooting for sarcoplasmic growth, well, yeah, it's really based on, how much complex carbs you're eating. You may not be eating enough to blow them up.
Range at 8 to 12, and it's not because it magically causes more muscle growth. Okay, I want to be extremely clear on that. It doesn't just magically cause more muscle growth. Okay,
well, not without enough complex carbohydrates to load the glycogen in there as a storage unit. No, of course not. Without that, what good is the rep? What good are the reps?
In fact, all available evidence shows that threes can gain muscle, tens can gain muscle, 20.
No, none of those things will gain any muscle if you don't eat anything. If you are in a negative nitrogen balance, then you're not going to build any real muscle. Your nuclei, they're not going to get bigger. And you're not even getting any more nuclei. You need to get it through muscle damage. And even if you got damaged and you weren't in a positive nitrogen balance, you're not growing, bro. And as far as this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, if you're not, if glycogen is not exceeding breakdown, then you are not gaining any sarcoplasmic either. Okay. What you're getting there is an inflammatory response. You are lifting in the gym, and then you're eating your slave food diet at McDonald's or the Pizza Hut. You're eating shit after your workouts. You've inflamed your muscles. They have absorbed water. That's what's holding. That's what's causing that bloatness. The bloatness in your muscles are because of inflammation. It's holding a lot of water. It's toxic and it's bad for you. And that's why you're always irritated and you feel really bad. Gyms are bad for people. It's period. It's bad. It's not for humans.
Can gain muscle. We can even make the case, and this is one reason I'm big on power building, is we can make the case for there being very small amounts of evidence, and a lot of experts and researchers have said they think this evidence, this body of evidence will grow, that different rep ranges may have slightly different pathways. So in other words, doing some very low, some medium, and some very high reps might, over the course of time, produce slightly more muscle growth. Okay?
No, not without resources. They're not going to create slightly more muscle growth. And as far as inflaming the muscles with inflammation, you have to maintain that inflammation by going to the gym and lifting. Every time you lift, you inflame your muscles, and then you look nice and puffy and big, and you walk around and you think you have some muscle in there. You pretend you have muscles. And then you gain weight, bulk diets, this, that, whatever. You eat a lot of garbage, and now you're getting fat on top of it. So you're getting fat, you're getting some glycogen, then you're getting a lot of inflammatory response in your muscles. Walking around with inflamed muscles all day. This is crazy. That is really insane. Why are you lifting weights, really? None of you are lifting weights for you. You are all doing it for somebody else. That's your problem. You're doing it to show off to somebody. You're not doing it for yourself. Trust me, nobody lifts weights for themselves. I do not. I never lift, really. In the beginning, I thought I lifted weights for myself when I was younger. Really, really, really young. I thought, oh, I'm going to go lift some weights, whatever. But I was already doing some heavy jobs myself, so I didn't need to lift weights. But honestly, I would have to say that with the time, I lifted weights because I was doing it for somebody else. Either I was thinking to get girls or something like that or whatever. To impress people or whatever. I did it for other people. Didn't really do it for myself. Even now, even now, if I go to the gym now, I'm not really doing it for myself. I'm doing it because I gotta look good. If I want to get any babes, that's all. I just want to look good and toned and shit, and that's it. Basically, I don't need any more mass or anything like that. I just want to look better. Look at Blaha. Why is he trying to look better? Is he doing it for himself? No, he's doing it because he says he's trying to get clients, to expand his client list and all that. So Blaha's not doing it for himself. He's not a lifting slave for himself. He's a slave because he's doing it to get money off of people.
You can make the case for that. So I want to be clear there. We can make the case for that. All right?
But I doubt the case for that. His case is it's not working for him. He's not getting any clients. Nobody's interested in Blaha. Nobody on the internet is.
Also make the case for the fact that some lower reps.
All of his clients, they left. They dropped him. There's no more client. He doesn't have any more videos of bringing up his clients. Go show me one video recently where he brought up his client. Where's client Michelle and all them? Where's Richard and Dean and all these clients? He's not posting their videos anymore. Want to know why? Because they were like, hey, why are you using our video? They put a cease and desist order. He was using their videos. He never had any clients. It was all fake. It was all fake. He stole their content and put it up, and then they found out about it. People contacted these people, and then they told them cease and desist order to get rid of them.
May be beneficial to improving neural drive enough to improve overload on your higher reps.
Blaha is just a sad individual, sad case. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Whatever. I'm just reacting. As far as this neural drive, what about neural drive, Blaha?
Make the case for some really high reps at 15 to 20, helping burn through more calories for better body composition while still producing good muscle growth. Again, talking about things like...
Look, if people are chasing neural drive, you don't want to do a lot of repetitions for neural drive. The whole point of neural drive is to try to lift heavy. So how could you lift heavy if you're doing reps? That's just ridiculous. That's why powerlifting exists. It's based on low repetition. Really, you could just do 1 rep maxes. 1 rep maxes will increase neural drive. Yeah. See what I mean? Now, as far as repetitions, why are people doing repetitions in the gym? Because they're going to tell you, I'm getting damaged and I'm building muscles. I'm getting damaged. Nobody ever says, I'm building muscles, doing reps. Well, I've had some people tell me, I go, what are you doing there? They go, I'm fatiguing the muscles. You're fatiguing them? What does that do? And then they turn to me and they go, I don't know. The muscles are going to grow. I go, what? They're going to grow from fatiguing? Now they're doing reps in the gym. The muscles are highly protected due to the repeated bout effect phenomena, a bunch of stuff. The muscles are all protected. There's no more adaptations. Now you're doing reps in the gym. Where do you think all that inflammation is coming from? It ain't coming from the 1 rep maxes trying to increase neural drive. If you want to look cool in a gym and lift a really heavy weight to try to impress people, no, man, get it. So if you really are just into neural drive, do 1 rep maxes. You don't even need to do 5x5. Just do 1 rep maxes. That's it. Rest in between while you do these 1 rep maxes. That's it. That's how you increase neural drive. You'll be able to lift heavier and heavier and heavier with the time, but you won't get physically stronger. You'll just be able to lift heavier.
EPOC, total calorie burn, using lifting as part of our energy turnover for fat loss. Again, based on studies we have on lifting weights and fat loss. So again, not discounting any of that. We can make good cases for using multiple rep ranges, right? Make a good case for that. Well,
yeah, you're just an endurance lifter now. If you're coming in often and doing high rep ranges, you are an endurance athlete. These people really just don't get it, man. And you're inflaming your cells in your body, which is inflammaging.
What I'm gonna definitely say especially for people somewhat new, spending a lot of time, again, once we get our other...
I think some people wrote me one time, when I put up some workout videos, they wrote me, they go, oh, he's doing a lot of accessory work. Well, I'm not doing accessory work. I'm trying to get an adaptation in muscle micro damage. Accessory work, that's what Blaha does. He lifts every single day in the gym. This is accessory work. I don't know what this is. This is endurance lifting. I'm not an endurance athlete. When I come into the gym, even now, I've come back to the gym again. I did a couple of sessions. I think I did 4 now. This will be the 5th one. So I'm just looking for an adaptation. And they were kind of like the last episode I just did, what didn't really pan out so well. I don't like that. See, I have to do more work. So this time when I come in, I'm going to try to do more work. I don't know. I got to figure it out, because it's not like the first time when you come in. It lasts for many days, the damage. Now you've got a heavy duty growth adaptation there, whatever. So I don't come in. I'm not an endurance athlete. I don't come in. I'm a sprinter. I don't do long distance running. I do sprinting. Bodybuilding is about sprinting. It's not about fucking endurance athlete.
Big movements out of the way, but I almost feel like I'm at a point where, as a coach, I could prescribe a lot of 5 to 8s for that stuff instead of even those old 5s. okay? And then do 10 to 12 for secondary exercises, even for novices. Get really good results. Get really good results doing that. I almost want to write some programming based around that. Okay, I almost want to do that, as its own form of power building. Where we focus maybe on some 6s on the big lifts, and then we do a bunch of 10 to 12s for the majority of our work. But that's always going to be the point I make with that, even for me as someone.
I'd say if there's one exercise that you had to do, that you had no machines, you had nothing, this is the best exercise, the pull-up wax. This is your chest. It stretches your chest. It stretches your chest muscles. It stretches your shoulders. It does your triceps, your biceps. It does your part of your forearms. It does your lats. It does your back, your traps. That does a lot. That one exercise, wow, that does a lot. It's a full body. It's almost full body workout in one shot.
Someone who still does some 6s all the time. I do some 5 to 6s every single week, but only on about 4 or 5 lifts at the most. Where do you see most of my work? That 10 to 12. Most of it. And I still do some stuff higher, but I spend a lot of time in that 10 to 12.
Wow, what's this?
I'm in that 10 to 12.
He spends a lot of that time in the 10 to 12 because he's an endurance athlete. He's trying to burn body fat now. That's what he's using it for.
And we can come back over to kind of saying that 8 because a little bit heavier,
This is what you would all call cardio. That's what he's doing, cardio. You don't see him running on a treadmill, do you? Well, I did see him walking with a weighted vest in a video, and I think he was pushing a sled recently. He started pushing a sled, which I don't know why he's doing that, but whatever. Okay, good on him.
A little bit more neural drive. Spending a lot of time there gives you a lot to work with. But here's the other thing to think about. When you're up around that 8 to 12, we can do a lot of volume and handle it. We don't get the same fatigue that we get from the really high reps. And I think especially the reason I say that 8 to 12 is because we're big compounds. Man, you don't want to do 15 to 20 for some of your big movements. It starts turning into cardio. Any big free weight exercise, even a dumbbell
This is cardio. What he's doing is cardio.
press, right?
I mean, look what he's doing for his arms. Think about it for a second. Look at this.
Starts to turn into that real quick. That's almost reserved for machines in isolation. Realistically, seems to work better there. So again, if we're going to talk a lot of free weight stuff, that 8 to 12 works really well.
It's like a guy who's suffering from sarcopenia, which he is, because you could tell by his legs. He's got a wide waist. He's got these thin legs and thin biceps, thin arms. He's suffering from sarcopenia. It's like a guy trying to wear off sarcopenia by lifting. That's what he's doing. But it's not really going away. And the reason is because he's accelerated aging so far beyond his years. He looks 85 and he's 47, looking 85, going on 86.
Old school bodybuilders figured this out decades ago. Keep that in mind, back before gear was used, right? And even in the era when gear use was more moderate, what did we see? Well, that's exactly what we saw. That's literally what we saw. Everyone stuck around that 8 to 12, and it started.
What did we see? 8 to 12, they stuck around these old school bodybuilders. Okay. And?
Being called the hypertrophy range, because guys realized.
Yeah. When your muscles inflame with inflammation, you've hypertrophied. Get it? They hypertrophied. They hyper and they atrophy. Remember in my old videos? Hypering and atrophying. Hypering and atrophying. That's what people are doing consistently, going to a gym. They're hypering and atrophying. Why do you think they call it hypertrophy? Because you're hypering and atrophying. Hypertrophy. Atrophy. Hypertrophy. Atrophy.
That was kind of a sweet spot for volume. It didn't create quite the grueling amount that we got from the really high reps of.
Now, when they say hyperplasia, plasia means more cells. They're hypering through more cells. Get it? You're getting more cells. That's totally different. If you're getting more cells, well, you're actually building something. But if you're hypering and atrophying, well, you're not building anything. Get it?
Fatigue, right? Didn't quite create that, although a lot of them would do a lot of the higher when they wanted to get leaner, which again makes sense, more calorie burn, more energy turnover. They would go a little lower when they wanted to get stronger. It's where you saw a lot of the 5s. Okay? A lot of base building was done 5x5s back in the day. Guys just kind of gravitated towards that because they figured out it kind of worked. And I think especially...
Yeah, but they didn't figure out how to bring back these adaptations. That's why they started taking steroids. Yeah, wasting drugs.
As the years got on, things like bodybuilding grew, you saw more of that. And, you know, people who say, well, it turns out that wasn't true. We've got studies showing that all these rep ranges work. Yeah, absolutely. But guess what? That worked really, really well. It was very effective. It's very effective. And realistically, what sort of training approaches did we see that appeared to be really effective? Right? Start looking at the volumes, looking at the frequencies. The guys just started gravitating towards because it worked. I'm talking 20, 30, 40 years ago.
I like how he got up there and he started puffing himself out. He's buffing himself out and sucking in his gut for the camera, bro. All right, sure, Blaha.
You saw certain frequencies, certain splits really go in popularity. And then everyone still calls it, well, it's all bro training. But it worked. Guys got really, really jacked. And gals, actually. People produced phenomenal physiques doing it.
They did, Blaha? When are you getting jacked?
Okay? They did. It worked. It worked extremely well.
Yeah, it worked for them when they inflamed their muscles like everybody else in the gym, inflaming it with inflammation. They're inflaming their muscles with inflammation. Is that intelligent? That is not intelligent. You understand me? To go to a gym to constantly inflame your muscles with inflammation because you are adapted to lifting these weights. And then what do? You get upset. And then you're like, hey, I'm gonna bulk diet. I'm gonna eat garbage so I could build up these garbage fake muscles with garbage food, fake food, by getting fat. Okay, you want to get fat to pretend you have muscles. Okay, yeah, okay.
Extremely well.
That's what Blaha did.
If they wanted to stick to large.
That's what Blaha did, and then he admits in his videos, I was fat. You were fat. You didn't have any muscle, and now look what happened to him. He goes, oh, he weighed all that weight. He was like, I can't remember what he said. What was he, 300 pounds or something? I don't know, fat or some shit. Whatever. He's like around 200, he says right now. I really doubt that. He's probably at 100. His height is very short. He's probably at 160 pounds or something. What is he, 5'6", Blaha, 7? Maybe 7 at the most. I don't know. 5'7", 5'6". 5'7", let's say 5'7". He's weighing probably 170 pounds or something. I don't know. He weighs very little right now. Very, 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 very little. He has no muscle because he never built any muscle. He just got fat and then he got skinny again. Got fat, got skinny. Like Oprah. She gets fat, she gets skinny. She gets fat, she gets skinny. What's up with that, bro? What's up with that?
One rep range. Whereas I tend to tell people we want to stick to multiple rep ranges. This is where the power building type approach works. But how much of that is still done in that range? A pretty good chunk of it. Pretty good chunk of it. Okay? I know I really like to do a lot of 12 to 15, even more and more these days, for me personally. But I still do the heavier stuff too. Okay? So just pointing that out. But traditionally, that 8 to 12 worked because it doesn't beat you up the way the 5 and lower does. Right? You don't get beat up. Because that heavy weight starts beating you up, and you can do it on the big movements with a certain amount of volume. Okay?
Heavy weight beats you up because your body's weak. It's small and it's weak. You're trying to lift a heavy weight on a weak body. Look, the reason why apes have high testosterone is because they have more muscle fibers. So the more muscle fibers they have, the more they're able to push weight, heavy weight, without practicing I'm trying to increase the neural drive on a weak body. Well, apes don't have to do that. They have a lot of muscle fibers. You understand me? Which equates to high testosterone. Now, if you build muscle, if you actually build muscle in that adaptation, then yes, along with that will come higher testosterone levels, of course. It's kind of obvious. But if you're just building neural drive and trying to increase testosterone, increase it, crash it by lifting, coming to the gym all the time, doing these things, trying to get more receptors, more of this neural drive, yada, yada, yada. Buddy, that's again, you have to keep going there to maintain it. You got to keep going to this gym to maintain that forever and ever and ever. And your body, you're just beating it up, like Blaha says, you're beating up your body, you're destroying it.
Till you get real strong, you got to limit the volume of it. You can do it. It doesn't beat you up.
You'll end up crippled in the end, like a lot of these lifters. They end up injured, crippled, or whatever, and they just drop off because they all disappear. These power lifters, all these people, they just drop off. And then the next phase of slaves show up. And then you're probably thinking it's the same people, but no. The last shift of slaves, they dropped off because they're all crippled and dead from this, like the CrossFit games, these CrossFit people, they drop off. The fucking all these people, they just drop off, and then a new set of slaves come. They just take over for them. That's all. That's why you don't even know who's the most popular power lifter. If I was to ask you, do you know who's the most popular, whatever, the best power lifter out there who won the last competition, whatever? You don't know. Want to know why? Because it's a dead sport. It's shit. Now, if I ask you who won the Mr. Olympia, you all know. You want to know why? Because it's more popular. It doesn't beat your body up. You can last longer in the sport. That's even Larry Wheel said. He goes, oh, arm wrestling is a lot better because you can last a lot longer in the sport. Now arm wrestling's popular. We already know who the people are in arm wrestling, but we don't know anybody in powerlifting, bro. Get it? You understand me? These sports. Yeah. Now, as far as strongman, that's totally different. But you do know strongman because it's popular, but not powerlifting. There's shit. Even Olympic lifting. Who was the last person that won? Do you know? No. You want to know why? Because you don't watch that shit, bro. It's garbage. Huh.
Till the volume gets too high. You do it on the smaller movements, it beats you into the ground. And you try to do the really high reps.
Olympic lifting will destroy you. And so will powerlifting, because they're the same shit, okay? They'll destroy you eventually in the end, because your weak body. You want to lift a heavy weight on a weak body, okay?
Those 15 to 20s, you start trying to do that stuff on the big movements, and it just grades you. It just grinds you into the ground with fatigue. Doesn't beat you up, but it just burns you out. And you start running into cardio problems. Cardiovascular starts limiting you before muscle does. So really,
I'm going to have to agree with that. Yeah.
On average, that 8 to 12 is kind of a sweet spot. And it's not that it causes more muscle growth. It's just that it's a practical rep range that works for...
Yeah, it'll cause more inflammation. That's what it'll cause. It's the sweet spot. It'll cause more inflammation. You retain more water in these cells due to inflammation. And you could actually, for every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water are dropped between the skin and the muscle into the muscle. Yeah, by doing these rep ranges, providing that glycogen exceeds that breakdown. Yeah.
Almost every exercise. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.
Yeah, super informative, Blaha. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel, bro. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, man.